$24,000 bearish target or $62,000 bullish target? This isn't a game, everybody. This is not a game. The countdown is beginning. Bitcoin getting ready to signal the very direction that it is headed. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into the Bitcoin video. I don't know, maybe it's a game to you, but the countdown is truly beginning. We are approaching the apex of a symmetrical triangle, currently around 56% to the apex of this triangle. As I do this video, as you know, 74% or so to the apex of this symmetrical triangles. We look for breakouts to the upside or downside. This is based off of Bulkowski, 3000 perfect trades, thepatternSite.com. It's a free resource if you want to learn about patterns. And so this is based on data, and it has been so consistent over the years in all of these Bitcoin videos I've been doing. So it can happen sooner, it can happen later, but right now we're 56% of the way to the apex. And right now, Bitcoin, look at this, just right in the middle. And you know, I can't even sit here and say we are testing a lower trend line or an upper trend line. Breakouts ready to happen. Maybe it is ready to happen, but right now as I do this video, we are right in the middle, and Bitcoin has us on pins and needles. So let's talk about this. This is really crucial. Before we really talk about the targets, I want to break down something. Even in the short term, the hours ahead, this is Saturday evening on the East Coast, but there are actual areas that we can watch right now that will potentially give us a signal what Bitcoin's about to do. And what you can first see, and I want to just illustrate this for you, Bitcoin just keeps making these like powerful moves to the upside, right? There's one, here's one, whether it's a higher low or you know, a higher high, doesn't matter. We get these bursts to the upside and then we come back down, right? And it happens over and over again. Some are more powerful than others, but each time what we're looking for when it happens is Bitcoin to really, and let's take this for example, swing low to swing high. We're looking for Bitcoin to stay above a key Fibonacci area. This is 618 to 786. That is a hint that Bitcoin is just kind of in an upward trend. And really, we have seen support above these areas for months now in Bitcoin, right? So there's that swing high to swing low. Here's this previous swing low to swing high. Here's this previous swing low to swing high right here. You see support here at this Fibonacci support area. And then here we are in a brand new one, right? Right here. So swing low to swing high, Bitcoin recently, as it's consolidating into this apex, as you can see, these moves are getting smaller, but Bitcoin sees support at that area. And that area of support currently and still in play as support 35,700 down to 35,200. And Bitcoin's not far away from that support, but we want to see continuation and a bounce from that area. So that's on the very short term. But if we start zooming out, we start seeing, okay, Bitcoin's really messing around in this apex, and there's a bunch of things happening, right? Somebody commented on Twitter earlier. They were talking about this potential head and shoulders that really, it's just right there, right? There's a head and shoulders there that could lead us through the bottom trend line. And so that's why this short-term support right here is so crucial for Bitcoin to kind of maintain and stay above that area. We want to see, if we zoom in, this is what we want to see in the hours ahead. We want to see continuation at the very least to the upper trend line to give us some separation from this swing low. So we have a new swing low, which would be a higher low here to that trend line, and we'd have a new support area, right? And that's what we want to see, continued higher highs and higher lows. Now, as we go into the apex of this symmetrical triangle, it's definitely important to note Bitcoin, the targets that are in play. And so we can chart some of these targets, the symmetrical triangle targets to the upside, 53,000, symmetrical triangle target to the downside, 25,000. Now, I know at the beginning of the video, I kind of teased it a little bit with a $62,000 and $24,000 target, and I'm going to put it right here. So $24,000, and then we can chart the $62,000 target up here. Now, this is very speculative, but I wanted to talk about this. This is the ascending triangle that is in play. And I misspoke in yesterday's video. I kind of deleted that upper trend line. I said, okay, it's no longer in play. We're going to track the symmetrical triangle. And in the short term, that's true. We want to track the symmetrical triangle. It's a smaller a pattern, we'll get a quicker signal, right? Because the trend line of this ascending triangle is all the way up here. But if Bitcoin can manage to break through this symmetrical triangle right here, if we can break through that line and, head up towards this upper trend line, we could have a second touch of ascending triangle. This could be a case where Bitcoin stalls out around 42,000, trickles back down to the apex of the symmetrical triangle, and then we truly have two kind of bullish looking patterns in play for Bitcoin for potential breakout to the upside with two targets, right? Right around 53, 54,000 and 62,000 to the upside. So I can't sit here and tell you which way Bitcoin's going to break or if support's going to hold, because the targets to downside are just as realistic as the upside, right? $24,000, $25,000 Bitcoin. And when we start zooming out on the charts a little bit, we start asking ourselves questions. Main question, what if Bitcoin breaks to the downside? And I'm not trying to get bearish here, everybody, but this is very important information that I'm about to kind of just show you. This is really important data, because as all of this is happening and Bitcoin's consolidating into an apex, we're getting ready to get some type of signal. The macro charts are looking historically very harmonious, right? And so I'm gonna break this down for you on the daily charts, and I really think this is important data. We talk a lot about 2019, this parabolic move Bitcoin had. Very similar move as Bitcoin has recently had to the upside. I remember doing videos back here in December comparing where Bitcoin was to right around here in the spring and summer of 2019, talking about if Bitcoin can make that continuation, we could see, I think we were aiming for around a $40,000 Bitcoin, and we got it, right? But look at Bitcoin as it stalls out here at this upper trend line. We're currently below that trend line. A lot of things happening with that area, and that's what I want to talk about. And here's 2019 zoomed in. So what I want to point out to you is this. Look at this 20-day moving average, this green line just cruising up. Bitcoin just sees a swing high, right? Comes down, sees a lower high, and ultimately fails at this 20-day moving average. Now, if we look at Bitcoin now, we're getting a very similar move right now. And remember, right now, this upper trend line that Bitcoin's failing at is the same type of upper trend line Bitcoin failed at back there in 2019. So we're looking at, again, 2019, swing high, lower high, boom, but below the 20-day moving average. And if we go to Bitcoin now, swing high, lower high, and then here's the 20-day moving average. So you take that macro chart, you go back and you look at the micro, now we see the case, Bitcoin does have kind of this bearish potential to break to the downside through this lower trend line. Now, I want to note something even deeper into the Bitcoin charts, right? So here's Bitcoin now in the daily, and we can zoom out. Let me actually go here. This is 2019, same type of move, right? And what I want to do is I want to scroll, and I want to scroll all the way back. And I'm not even going to talk about the 2017 bull market high, but what I want to talk about is we got very similar moves in the last bull market. Look at this. So this is Bitcoin in the last bull market. Here's the beginning of the bull market. And look, Bitcoin just seeing gains, swing high. And let me get my brush. Swing high right here, lower high, fails at the 20-day moving average consolidation. Huge dip before continuation, right? So I know I'm talking about Bitcoin dipping right now, potentially. And we have our targets to the downside. They're extremely harmonious with the 50-day moving average. Technically, it would just make a lot of sense. It's not even that bearish of a thing, even though it's a big drop. But at the same time, if we go back to the 2017 charts, look, Bitcoin again, swing high, lower high, failing at the 20-day moving average, dipping below the 50-day moving average before continuation. Here's another swing high, right? And then a lower high right here. And I keep losing my brush. Lower high right here, below the 20-day moving average, dipping below the 50, and continuation to the upside. So just because I'm sitting here talking about the potential for a dip, right, does not mean it's even that big of a deal long term, because this was Bitcoin in the beginning of the last bull market, and we all know what followed and what ensued. And I am so bullish right now on Bitcoin long term that a dip like this is just a correction. It's just consolidation. It's much needed on anything that's trading on these charts. But I will say this, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? We know there's supply shock. So for me, there is such a case for bullish continuation right now. If it happens, if Bitcoin just explodes to the upside, especially we have some altcoins that have recently moved a little bit, I could totally see Bitcoin cruising to the upside. The purpose of these videos, and this is why I do technical analysis for myself, it's the same reason I do videos and share this data with you, is not to exactly predict what Bitcoin's going to do, but I like to look at historical data so that I can be ready for these different scenarios and look at truly the possibilities that lie just ahead of us. And I know I try and do some teasers with the thumbnails and titles or whatever, but it really is true. We're approaching an apex, and it's really a critical area for Bitcoin. If you're keen to know what direction Bitcoin's headed, to the downside or to the upside, namely to $62,000 target or $24,000 target, this really is getting close now to probably getting a decisive move. I would say in the next, 24 to 48 hours, we're going to really have a good idea. But on the very short term, we're looking for support at this, very short-term Fibonacci support area. That right now, as I zoom in on the charts, Bitcoin has seen support at, we got a bounce. But what's going to happen next, right? The true support area, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I'm going to have to timestamp this. This is probably the most important thing, is the lower trend line touch swing low to the upper trend line touch swing high. This is the most important support area. This is the true Fibonacci support, and this is 33,900 or so down to 32,200. Bitcoin might make a move for it, right, down to this area. But if Bitcoin can show support, we may get a bounce to complete the symmetrical triangle towards the apex, right around the 74% area. So be ready for that. That's really a true support. You always want to use the trend line touches for the most critical of critical Fibonacci support and resistance, right? So that's what we're looking for. And by the way, when I say resistance, here's the first touch, swing high to the swing low, and look at that resistance right there that Bitcoin did see, right? And we anticipated that, and we're consolidating right now. So I wanted to do an update for you. Here's the update. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I will surely be doing an update video. Who knows what's going to happen overnight? Tomorrow will be Sunday, and if something crazy going on, I'll be doing a live stream. But again, I thank you for cruising by. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.